I just want to give a shout out to all my homies.
Actually, no. Let's not give a little shout out to
Just because we don't have any friends doesn't mean we can't.
Red Lobster, aka Gingerbread Boy.
She's part of the hater crew.
Hater. Oh, you hate my ass because we're trying to holler at the homies.
Good morning. This is Kayleigh Rogers. You're listening to the Morning Buzz on Radio.org. Good morning on this very snowy day. I am your host, Kayleigh. With us is Ms. Pacino and Mr. Puro. Everyone else seems to be MIA at the moment. Well, we have some news about a forgotten inmate who's supposed to get $15.5 million from a settlement from a New Mexico County jail. Well, Stephen Selvin's 22 months in solitary confinement in a county jail left him, according to his lawyers, traumatized and physically weak. But because of his suffering, he'll soon become a multi-millionaire. The New Mexico County jail that locked him on a drunk driving charge isolated him from other inmates and is now accused of essentially forgetting about him for nearly 2 years. And they've agreed this week to settle his lawsuit for $15.5 million. Selvin, who is now 59, went to jail in August of 2005 as a well-nourished, physically healthy adult, but then emerged with a long beard, bed sores, bad teeth, and weighing just 133 pounds in June 2007, according to his lawsuit. If you have an opinion and you would like to tell us about your opinion on this extremely strange case, you can call in 201-854-8224. Now it is time for your random facts of the day. Well, it's time for Today in History. Well, in 1957, Egypt opened the Suez Canal. Mount Etna erupted in 1669. The Lonely Hearts Killers were executed in 1951 in Sing Sing Prison in New York. And in 1917, the February Revolution began. In Russia, the February Revolution, which is known because of Russia's use of the Julian calendar, began with riots and strikes over the scarcity of food erupted. Around 1 week later, centuries of Tsarist rules in Russia ended with the abdication of Nicholas II, and Russia took a dramatic step closer towards communistic revolution. That's pretty interesting. What do you guys think?
Well, the revolution in Russia, many books have been written about it, and you know the book Animal Farm?
Yeah.
Well, that's based on the Russian Revolution. I find it fascinating. I read up on it once in a while. The crazy demonic monk Rasputin.
Yeah. And
his dealings with the Queen Katrina, was it, or I forget. But it needed to come, I guess, because most of the people were in poverty. So.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why revolutions happen is because a majority of the population is not doing well, and they support a revolution because they think things will get better. Oftentimes it gets worse. But,
oh, yeah.
You know.
Well, I guess that's some people's way of changing government is just start a revolution. I mean, look at the French Revolution.
Right, French Revolution. We have many revolutions in South America and Central America. We had a revolution in the beginning of our country against England.
Yeah.
We were under England, and then we had a civil war about 70 years later that almost disrupted or put an end to the Union. And we almost had two countries back then.
Some people thought that the rising of the Tea Party was going to be the start of some kind of revolution.
Right,
yeah. Oh, yeah, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, the Tea Party was a mini revolution, I guess, of sorts. It didn't go anywhere. In fact, I think the Republican Party is trying to distance itself now.
Yeah.
They don't want to be known as the Tea Party, so not as big because they lost the election. But
True.
yeah.
Like, what's your guys' opinion on the forgotten inmate who's going to get $15.5 million?
Well, how long was he in for?
2 years in solitary confinement.
And solitary confinement. Wow.
And the county prison is being accused of just essentially forgetting that he was there.
And this happened where?
New Mexico.
Well.
In 2005 to 2007.
Wow. Well.
I'm surprised he's.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
That least amount of money should be more.
Yeah.
If you really think about it.
Yeah, I mean, solitary confinement is no walk in the park, that's for sure. Walk on the beach, yeah. Maybe it should be more, yeah.
He was brought in with drunk disorderly charges, but he was never actually prosecuted.
Yeah.
And so they locked him in for the night, and they said that they put him in solitary confinement because of reported mental illness. So they wanted to separate him from the prisoners, but they just kind of forgot he was there. And when he left, he was weighing just 133 pounds. He had bed sores, a long beard, and they showed a picture of him when he entered and when he left. He didn't have a beard at all, not even 5 o'clock shadow. And so the fact that he left with a really long beard and his face looked thinner, that's kind of sad.
Well, look, he deserves some compensation. And definitely, I don't know how to put a figure on that, but he lost 2 years of his life in horrendous situation. Yeah, why not?
It's really hard to believe that.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he, go crazy and say, well, what am I doing here? Can you just check? Can I get a lawyer? Can I get somebody?
Yeah.
Didn't he speak up?
Well, he left in 2007, so they've been kind of
ignoring him, I guess.
They've been kind of having almost a paper war of I want compensation.
Wow. I can't. That is just a story beyond belief.
Yeah.
Really, So, you might think about that in some underdeveloped countries or third world countries, but New Mexico. I mean, that's not
That seems almost un-American.
It definitely is un-American.
Yeah.
You didn't even have a trial, right?
No, because it's kind of with when you're drunk driving or drunk and disorderly, they keep you in overnight.
Yeah.
I think that's what they tried to do, but they just kind of forgot he was there.
Yeah. That's a sad and tragic story.
Well, he'll get $15 million, and he'll have to give half to America for taxes.
Yeah.
So he's down to 7.5.
Yeah.
But he can buy a nice little mansion in Beverly Hills, and that will soothe his 2 years in solitary confinement. Can get a nice little mansion, and
I guess
make things better, make things a little better. I'm sure he's bruised and battered psychologically as well as physically from that, but
he said that when he left he was just traumatized.
Yeah, I would imagine. Solitary confinement, I can't imagine what that must be like. 2 years of it. I mean, I could 1 week of it, never mind 2 years of it. So
yeah, I would not want to do that. Well, it is time for our random facts. There are more than 1,000 chemicals in a cup of coffee. Of these, only 26 have been tested, and half of them caused cancer in rats. And we drink that.
Tentacles? What do you mean, tentacles?
Of these, only 26 of the 1,000 have been tested, and half of the chemicals that were tested had caused cancer in rats.
Wow.
That's very bad.
That's, I just finished my cup of coffee, my second cup of coffee. I heard it's good for you. I heard it had a lot of antioxidants, and, as long as you don't drink 5 or 6 cups a day, I guess.
It also stunts your growth, though.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think
at this point, I hope it does. I keep on getting wider.
My wife doesn't drink coffee. She never does, but a lot of controversy, I guess, about coffee.
Yeah.
But, I know it wakes me up, so that's why I do it.
So you just think of the sheer number of people who love coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're killing themselves.
It's kind of like, I don't know. Coffee, for me, it's a toss-up because I really do like some coffee, but it also makes me jittery at times if I have like too many. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't really have coffee after noon because it could affect your sleep.
True, that's a good point.
I usually don't have any coffee after 12, so. But if I have it late at night, sometimes it affects my sleep, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. It's kind of, I usually, if I go out late at night and I've got to drive, I try to have a cup of coffee before I drive,
Yeah, that's always a good move.
If I've gone out, so. But sometimes it does affect your sleep, you're wide awake, and that is. But, supposedly the cocoa bean or cacao bean, wherever it comes from, has a lot of health benefits and attributes. So.
True.
Yeah. So.
Well, your heart rate can rise as much as 30% during a yawn.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the volume of the Earth's moon is the same volume as Pacific Ocean.
Wow.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I found that one really interesting.
Why is it? I always wondered why is it that when people yawn, it's like starts a chain reaction and other people yawn. Did you ever see that?
Yeah, it's
when
really
somebody
weird.
yawns and then you yawn, and it's really strange.
I know there's been some studies about that, and it's just something about it being extremely contagious.
Yeah.
It's like you see it, it's kind of like, oh, I'm tired now.
Right.
Yeah, and gets around,
Yeah. Well, we all know it's snowing, and it's kind of like a mix of snow and hail outside.
Right.
Well, right now it is 32 degrees, but it feels 10 degrees colder.
Mm-hmm.
Snow, of course. So there's supposed to be periods of wet snow throughout the day, but it will remain a mix of rain and snow, as we were supposed to have yesterday. The rain or snow will probably end around the afternoon, but there's going to be cloudy, and there's supposed to be about half an inch more more snow around 3 p.m. today. And the winds are going to be 15 to 20 miles per hour coming from the north.
I was very surprised we didn't have a delayed opening. I guess it was too late to do that.
I was hoping for a half day.
Yeah,
I still am.
Yeah, I was surprised. Usually when we have this type of weather, we have a delayed opening, but the storm maybe just kicked in a little too late to call that.
Maybe.
But it was really kind of harrowing driving to work, I know, for me today, because of all the hills around here. And probably the worst day of the winter so far for driving.
Did you take the bus down?
Yeah,
How
the
was
bus
that?
was going really slow. And we had to go, I'm from Hoboken, so we had to go through part of Weehawken to Union City, and we had to go to this one turn where it's always hold on to your seat. This time we just had to take an inch for a minute. It's okay, let's just go really slow now, because the way the curve on the street is, even when it's a perfectly normal fine day, you still have to hold on to your seat, because no matter where you're going, the curve is just so insane.
Yeah.
And driving on Tunnelly today was so slow.
I can't imagine that.
I know Boulevard East, there was 3 police cars, 2 stalled cars. It was to go 4 blocks took about 5 minutes. It was just really.
Yeah, when I was waiting at my bus stop, which is near St. Mary's Hospital, I saw so many ambulances, and it was people just need to, when they're driving, they need to, especially on really messed up days, when it's rain or snow or a mix of the both we have today, they need to slow down, because reaction time will be extremely delayed.
And a lot of people freak out when there's snow on the ground, they've never seen it before, and they really don't handle it too well when they're driving.
Oh no.
They don't know how to drive in it. We don't have that much of it, so when it does hit, some people freak out.
Yeah.
Some cars are just basically unprepared to drive in the snow.
That's right, John. They really are.
Yeah. So.
Like, I don't think a lot of people actually have snow tires right now.
Right.
Well, we don't really use. I remember when I was growing up, my father would put snow chains on the tires.
Yeah, I've seen those.
You know, they don't do that anymore. They have I guess all weather tires now. They're better tires than they used to be.
All the police cars and DPW trucks had big chains wrapped around.
Right.
And they used to just bring up all the tar. There used to be potholes.
Really, rip up because the roads were just a mess after that, and it sounded horrible. But they all did that. You know, back when we had more snow, I guess, and colder weather. Our winters were a little colder, and we had a little bit more snow. But I think this year, especially a little north of us, like New England, they've really had a lot of snow, powerhouse of snow. You know,
like they usually get pretty hard, just based off of location.
Yeah.
But this year, I think they've been hit the hardest out of like recent 10 years.
Right. Boston area.
Yeah.
It's really been clobbered. Long Island area. And this storm, they're saying, maybe an inch, or maybe an inch to 3, maybe 3 to 5, maybe 5 to 7. You know, it keeps on going up. If you're in the northern areas, it could be a little bit more. So the Weather Prediction Service, although better than it was, still's not accurate as it could be.
Yeah, well, this was our short but informative and sweet show.
Right.
I'd like to say have a nice day and be careful out there.
We have a nice weekend coming up, by the way.
Oh, yeah, yes, nice weekend,
have.
And probably stay indoors because it's going to be cold.
Well, no, 50s on
But there's
Sunday.
Still going to be snow on the ground.
All right,
over the weekend, they don't really take care of that well in most areas.
Okay, all
so,
right.
I'm staying indoors. I recommend you do that too.
All right.
Well, have a nice day and be careful with driving and on the street.